Paradise Creations members, thank you for tuning in and thank you for being here. We are continuing our interesting discussion with Freeman and his trip down in Maya country, and we were finishing off around where the mudslide was taking place, so to speak, and Freeman was not quite ready with that. And you have a little bit more. I guess the story continues after that, right, Freeman?
Absolutely. You know, I have said time and again that I cannot go anywhere without running into someone I know. And this has been the miraculous foundation that I've lived my life by, that I know I can go anywhere and be taken care of or just have a friend. And right from the beginning on this trip, I'm sitting next to a man on the airplane, and I swear I know him. I mean, I know this guy. And so I finally ask him, and he says, no, there's no way you could know me. I'm from Canada. But this was one of the signs given in the Celestine prophecies of being on the synchronistic path, is feeling that you know people, and then you should, kind of push them for whatever message they have for you. But I went back into my aloof nature and didn't ask this guy for any further questions after he assured me I didn't know him. Mm-hmm. But this carried on, and to the point where when I was in San Marcos, which is across the Lake Adelon from San Pedro, I ran into my friend from Kansas as we're walking around to go swimming. And all of a sudden, here's someone I know. That confirms it for me, no matter where I go. Even the people I was with had never been to San Marcos, and I was the one who knew people.
Right.
Amazing stuff, and they live there. But so then when we hit this mudslide and I got trapped, I ended up missing my flight home. And which was fine with me because I wanted to stay. Right. I didn't want to go.
Right.
And I found myself back in San Cristobal, and I was trying to find that hostel that I had stayed at. And I thought I knew my way around because I had been there a few days already before, but I didn't. And I ended up walking around in circles with my luggage. And I had my little red Walmart tent with me and all my backpacks and camera gear and everything, and first time ever I had to carry it all by myself.
Right.
So I'm walking around lost, and I finally returned to the corner that I started at and realized that it was right up the street from where I was. I was actually at the right place, but I'd walked in circles with all that stuff. And I was just like, oh, God. So I just dropped all my stuff right there at that corner and rested. And then I made my way up the hill into the hostel, and I've been wanting to return to my new favorite restaurant there in San Cristobal. So I just dropped all my stuff, and I turned around and I walked back out. And I come back to that very corner, and there's a Mexican fellow standing there with his backpack, his little red Walmart tent, and I'm thinking, now this is just too much to be real. And this, of course, is another sign of the synchronistic path. Seeing that red Walmart tent to me was a clear message. And so I walked over to that guy standing on the exact same corner with the exact same gear, and I asked him if he needed a hand.
Right.
Because that's all I had wanted when I was standing there. And he says, yes, my name's Hector. I'm trying to find my friends.
Right.
And I said, well, I'm about to have dinner. Would you like to join me? Because in Mexico I can afford to buy people dinner.
Right.
And he's like, yeah, sure. So we go and we have dinner. And he starts talking, and I tell him what I'm doing, and I showed him some of the film from the ceremony. And he says, well, we're all going to Palenque tomorrow. You want to go? And strangely or not, that is exactly what I wanted to do. As I was trying to formulate what I would do with the 3 days that I had now that I was stuck after missing my flight, I wanted to go to Palenque. And then all of a sudden, this guy with the red Walmart tent is getting me there. And he introduces me to his friends, or these wonderful ladies. A couple of them were from Sweden, actually.
Really? There we go.
Yeah. And then a couple from San Cristobal. And we all loaded onto another chicken bus and headed off to Palenque.
So
I had a most incredible time there, and got lots more footage of these incredible pyramids. I walked more stairs than I possibly could ever imagine.
Yeah, I can imagine, yeah. So Palenque, is this, like all of these places, Tikal, Palenque, are they kind of like really high up on mountains, or are they, flat down in the valleys? Where are they?
No, they are definitely up the mountain.
They are, yeah. Huh.
And
So that
I have a back injury, so these type of things are. I didn't want to do it again. It was great once.
Right, right.
I wouldn't have tried to walk those stairs again.
Huh. Wow, that's fascinating. And Palenque, did you have some footage on? I mean, you released one one episode, so to speak, from your journey down there. Was there any footage from Palenque that you had in there?
I don't remember.
Or was it
I think
just...
I ended that one with the morning at Tikal, watching the sunrise.
Right, I remember that. Yeah, so that was from
So
Tikal.
no, I haven't gotten to the Palenque footage yet.
Right. So, I mean, what's your overall plan, so to speak? You have a lot of footage. Are you planning to put this together now then in a DVD, or what's happening?
Yes, I want to combine my whole year into a film. If you imagine that, the last time we spoke, I was going to Portland. I had a big flying V-shaped craft fly over my car. I met with the high priest of the Church of Satan and talked about his device to open a portal for the old ones to enter, discussed Elvis's return with the World Trade Center architect, who's a Kabbalist magician that designs time machines.
Right.
And then ended up in Guatemala performing a ritual with the Mayans and winter solstice.
Yeah.
I have some great stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
And I'm dying to cut that all together, but I keep having major crashes on my computer. I just lost all kinds of stuff.
Oh, no, not good at all. Yeah.
So I'm always starting over. I wish I had a production crew, but it's just me,
Right. So what kind of gear, by the way, do you have when you travel around like that? Do you have a mini DV cam and a lot of tapes, or do you record on some kind of flash memory? What do you use?
Yeah, I picked up a little $200 DV camera, and that's what I work with. And then I also have my still shot camera.
Right. And that's
so about $400 in gear is all.
Sure.
And it's really amazing because all of the film and the even my cigarettes all just were handed to me right before I left, and they were all coincidence. Nobody knew I was going.
Huh.
And for me, that's the amazing part of the tale, are all the little coincidences. When I woke up in Palenque, okay, so now I'm spending New Year's Eve in Palenque.
Right.
And we're eating the supposedly best pizza in the world, or at least the best pizza in Mexico.
Right.
And having a massive fire dancing, drumming New Year's Eve celebration.
Nice.
I get lost in a torrential downpour for an hour or more, where the paths became 4-foot rivers, and I couldn't find my way back to my tent, and was lost in there. I finally get back to the tent. I get back to sleep. Another interesting thing is I'm sitting there in my tent going, God, I'm starving. And I know that it's already too late to go get food anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I think to myself, well, there's got to be some way. And my brain gives me a little message and says, well, the only reason you don't think you're not having food right now is because you don't believe it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
And so I say, okay, I believe it's possible. I tell my brain this. And at that very instant, and I'm not lying, the zipper of my tent opens, and the girls from Sweden are like, we're starving! And they start pulling out all of their treats. The next thing I know, I have a full feast in front of me, and I didn't even have to get out of my sleeping bag.
There we go. Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it's things like that show me the true power of our imagination.
Right. But is it...
So I get up the next morning, I go over to El Baño, and I'm walking out of there, and I hear, Freeman! And I'm thinking, no way. Somebody else here knows me. This is too much.
Mm-hmm.
And I turn and look, and it's all of my friends from the Tikal ceremony had ended up at Palenque as well.
Really? How the heck did that happen?
So it was this massive reunion for my going away, because people that I had met on the shuttle were there, and it seemed like I knew almost everyone at Palenque that night.
That's interesting.
Amazing.
Wow.
It just blows my mind. It never ceases to amaze me.
So, one thing that I'm curious about is you guys were setting up tents there. Could you just throw up those anywhere, or were there restrictions down there? How did that work?
Yeah, it was pretty much a campground.
It was?
Outside of the Palenque.
Right at the pyramids, actually, or?
A little bit down the road, not too much. I could have walked to the pyramids. Actually, I did walk home.
Right. But is there kind of guards there that are guarding these facilities at night, or can you just go in there and you know, as you said, sleep on the pyramid?
No, there are definitely guards.
They are.
I took the long trip down the mountain, down all these stairs. I mean, it was the longest stairs I had ever been on. Went all the way down the mountain. I was trying to find the museum, because at Palenque is where the temple of Pakal is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a big, this is very well known in the ancient astronaut realms. The tomb of Pakal has a sarcophagus lid that shows Pakal what appears to be manning a flying craft on the pyramid lid.
Right.
And is it Valet, one of the researchers into the Mayan
I know more
astronaut theories?
Right. I know Maurice Cottrell is one of those guys who's actually deciphered the lid.
He did a whole story on this tomb lid, on the sarcophagus lid.
Yeah.
Showing how it was holographic in nature.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to get my own picture of that. I'm a big ancient astronaut buff, so I walked all the way down to the museum, all the way, and went past that security guard that stands there.
Mm-hmm.
And I get there, and it's Monday, and the museum is closed on Monday. And I'm thinking to myself, because the same thing happened when I went to the Temple of Athena in Nashville and went to see the 42-foot golden goddess inside there. It was also Monday, which is Moon Day, which she's a lunar deity, and so therefore it was closed again as well. So I keep getting denied on some of my big goals of, Freeman missing the 42-foot golden goddess is just too much to bear. And then to also go down all these stairs and have to go back up them to find the museum closed. But as I'm walking back, I have my camera out, and the guard there starts yelling at me, and I don't know what he's saying, but I can kind of tell he's saying video, and he's obviously upset about my camera. And so I'm like, well, no worries, no problem. And I put it in my bag, and he's getting on his microphone, and he's calling people and doing things, and I'm like, are we okay? Everything's fine. I'll put it away, and I walked away. I just played dumb American, which really I was. And at that point, I was like, oh, wow, I better film a whole bunch more.
Sheesh, my God. But nothing happened there? It worked out okay, or?
Yeah, I just kept walking.
Right.
That's my philosophy.
Well,
no habla español, see ya.
Well, I guess you don't want to end up in a dungeon in Guatemala somewhere, right? Sheesh. No. That's no good at all. So, wow, there we go. So you're down in Palenque at this point, and how long did you stay there, and did you move on from there, or what happened after that point?
So I spent New Year's Eve there, and then bright early in the morning we jumped in another shuttle, and we went up to Tulum, where there are more ruins, but I didn't get to see those. And we had just come from this torrential downpour. We were all damp and wanting to get warm, but the beach was not warm at all. The sun hasn't even rose, and we're sitting out there on the beach just shivering. But it was beautiful. And I turn, and I'm really just waiting to catch my next shuttle to get to Cancun to jump on my flight. And so they're all getting ready to hang out, and this is the Swedish girls and the other girls from San Cristobal. And we had lost Hector at this point. He went on his own route. And so I turn to say goodbye to everyone and give them hugs, and I look up, and there's a huge rainbow right where I have to go. And I turn and look at my friends, and I said, well, I've got to head for the rainbow. And I walked off into the rainbow.
There we go.
That was the last I saw of them.
Ah, there we go. Yeah, that's nice. So did you just head back home at that point? I mean, were you on your own by then? Is that it?
Yes, and I was back on my own. But I was closer, and I was a little bit more knowledgeable, and so I didn't get gringoed at the border this time. They charged me